Right, greetings everybody. This is thanks for the person who was worried about my welfare in Russia. I mean, as well you should be. But the purpose of today is to specifically address the issue of a gentleman called Richard Inman, and also the fact that the reason I keep this channel open is because I want to see links made between the Jewish, the Hindu, and the British communities, because we all share the same values. Yeah. Now, of course, Hindus are polytheists. Anyone who has read the Quran knows what a polytheist is in that book. And you have to remember my hands are somewhat tied where I am, because they were far less tied in Moscow, although that was a different ball game as well. I mean, actually, I made a Russian cop laugh. I think that's quite good, actually, because I was with someone who was talking a little bit inappropriately, and I was a bit worried. I went to security. I went, "I love Trump." Do you know what I mean? And he just laughed, because I think they quite like Trump as well. And the thing is, to the sort of the Tommy community, which is the clothes shop, it's actually quite pathetic the way you're a clothes shop. I do not agree with the pledge. I agree with about 99% of the pledge, but I won't sign it for the very reason there is no such thing as a Christian nation. If there was, I would be with you, but there's not. And I think that strategy is extremely counterproductive to what the loyal residents of Britain are facing. Because, we've just had a Hindu prime minister who I think we got rid of too soon, because he understood the financial markets. He warned Liz Truss, who, has now come out the woodwork and is on every single right-wing outlet in the United States. She messed up. She needs to own that, yeah? You do not go round announcing an unfunded budget to the financial markets, given the state of Britain at the moment. And for those of you who, seem to be wanting to pin the evils of the world on Keir Starmer, there's a hell of a lot worse than Keir Starmer, but I digress. So basically, both the Jewish and the Hindu communities are being persecuted by radical Islam. Yeah. Now, again, listen to my language very carefully. And actually, this is born of experience, you fools. Yeah, you fools on the far right. Yeah, because you're not far right. Yeah, you're not even right. I mean, the thing is with you, Inman, how dare you slag off Maggie? Do you know what I mean? And I also respect you. I'm going to come back to you in a minute. But basically, they're being absolutely... You're being torn apart by these people. From Manchester all the way to Bondi Beach, there is anti-Semitism in this world that I don't think will go away until the return of Christ. Yeah? But in the meantime, we support our Jewish community. Yeah, there is a Jewish community in London and in Manchester, and we support them. Yeah. Now, if even the Bible, setting aside the Bible, which is a big book to set aside, from the Bible, I support the Jewish people, but also from a human rights position, I support the Jewish people. Now, I know the leader of Stop the Hate doesn't really like me. I don't care. I was just there to make up the numbers, behave. When he told me to do something, I did it. I think he knows. There's a perception that somehow I created the chaos in Hyde Park. I just had that with me. Now, I actually watched the Revelation channel about what happened that day. I was running around saying Kashmir is Indian. Well, it is. So, if someone wants to lose it over this flag, there is a problem, and that problem's not with me. So we need to get behind and actually support these people. And, Albanese, I've got a list actually. Albanese and Starmer have got blood on their hands. Oh, I recognise Palestine. You mean like the Palestinian Authority in Judea and Samaria, who the Jordanians called the West Bank, by the way, they have a pay-to-slay policy. In other words, if some dude goes and blows himself up, his family are looked after. Now, that is a fact. That is a fact. And Stama has gone and recognised a terror organisation called the Palestinian Authority. I mean, let's not go into Hamas. And of course, the links between the two are well known. The people living in Judea, Samaria and Gaza have been offered peace on at least 5 occasions. On at least 5 occasions, they have rejected it. Google a YouTube video with Hillary Clinton. Yasser Arafat told Hillary Clinton he could not accept the peace deal because he knew he would be assassinated by someone from his own side. It's as simple as that. And my position has always been on this channel to admit the problems of my forefathers who promised the land to both sides. And Britain has blood on its hands by abstaining in the 48 or 49 vote. If it wasn't for the United States, this place wouldn't exist. And then, of course, the BBC is allowing all this shit to go round, going, oh, you know, it's Zionism, it's colonialism. No. The international community decided twice to create a Jewish homeland, both in 1922 and in 1948-49, because they recognized in 1948 that there needed to be a Jewish state in the Middle East. There were Jews living in the Middle East before that. The purpose of this video is not to go over the history of the region, but the history of the region is clear-cut. There is no such thing as a Palestinian people. Now, I love the Arabs. They are lovely people. Well, apart from the first-hand experience I had of a grade 9 girl pulling out a computer file with pictures of Adolf Hitler. I mean, other than that, she was quite nice. And, of course, going out into the Qatari desert when they had swastikas, and they weren't the Hindu ones, by the way, sat on their 4x4s. So, you know, you don't have to go very far to find anti-Semitism. So there's blood on their hands. Now, the whole point is, how do you bridge together the Jewish, Hindu, and, you know, for the sake of it, white British communities? Now, where are we? Tommy Robinson. Oh, Tommy. I mean, I've met him once. I've got a selfie with him as well. Probably should keep that one very carefully under wraps. I mean, God, he comes out of prison. You know, he's got the long hair and the beard. You know, he's got his rosary out. I thought he was going to get out a guitar and start singing My Sweet Lord. I mean, it's like Wendell, who fawns all over Tommy Robinson. Oh, God, it's like, can you please... can you please hand me a sick bowl? Tommy Robinson is not a saint, and I think even Tommy Robinson would agree with that. Now, I condemn my MP, Nigel Farage, on this one. Tommy Robinson has not always been straight-laced. I think he's been quite upfront about that. But I am still to find Tommy Robinson saying something racist, although he platforms anti-Semites. And I've given you, and I'll mention again, the anti-Semite on his stage, which is why I'm saying to anyone from the Jewish community watching this, you want to be careful who you basically associate with, because this guy could take you down. I don't think he's got much sense. I mean, for a start, he's got a gold smuggling money launderer doing his worship. I'm not making this up, and I'm not slandering either, or libeling, because basically, you know, I know Al Jazeera is not a reliable news source, but on this one, the politics of the Middle East is that the UAE, Qatar wanted to get one over on the UAE, and so they did a documentary on the gold smuggling. So not only does a member of Tommy Robinson's team, not only is involved in international crime, he's involved in international crime involving a GCC state. And of course, your rights in a GCC state are actually not that big. But that's not the big problem. He's supposed to be a worship leader. He can't even play guitar. I mean, you know, this guy is an absolute tool. Give me a second. I mean, let's go and get my guitar. I mean, yeah. If you go to, you know, this is. Oh, I'm Ricky Dolan. I support Jesus Christ. Just one touch from the King. Because, you know, he's like. I mean, he makes Lister from Red Dwarf sound good. I mean, this is a shit show. This is a shit show to the point where my Aussie friend actually thinks that this is a government front. You know, that these people are actually under the pay of the government. Now, I don't believe that. I believe Richard Inman is a good man. Come back to him later. But they're making big mistakes because this is anti-Semitic. Now, I trust my source on this with Doolin. Doolin apparently turned up at a Jewish protest. You can't make this up. With a Crusader flag. I mean, you know, I'm not exactly known for being Mr. Common Sense and sensible. This guy turns up at a demonstration for Jewish people with a Crusader flag. I mean, it's actually 50-50 whether turning up with a certain flag from 1939. How stupid can you be? And you guys need to reach out to these Tommy people because they're actually quite nice people once you get past the stupidness. Talking of stupid, Maya Tosi, who also hangs with anti-Semites. But, you know, this is a positive New Year message. Well done, Maya. I'm so pleased for you. I'm so pleased that hopefully we're this close that you can go to Iran. Take a nice long trip, Maya, but seriously, I'm very, very, very pleased for you that you and your missus is quite nice. She's not my type, but no, I mean, last time I met you, you still arrogantly put me down with this, there's no such thing as a Christian nation. Well, there's not. I'm going to come back to that in a minute. So, if you wear the keffiyeh, you are supporting terrorism. I can't come back to Britain at the moment. I've asked the question, but I don't know whether I can come back because a certain group of people have questioned me where all I said, allegedly, and I've got a video of the incident, you know, these stupid Goras, got to get that one into my Hindu viewers, the stupid Goras going, oh, free, free Palestine, free, free Palestine. Well, wearing the keffiyeh is wearing terrorist paraphernalia under my free speech. And if there's going to be any action by the British on this, I'm either to this place. Actually, I'm too much of a coward to go to this place, yeah? I'd love to go to this place and work, yeah? I'm in this place at the moment working, yeah? But I'd get on a flight from here to the United States and say, President Trump, please give me asylum, process it pretty quickly because I want to be back for September. Britain is now a hellhole joke. It's a hellhole joke where what comes out of here can get you in serious trouble. That's all I said. Now, given that that wanker, Bob Villan or whatever it calls itself, yeah, is not even arrested for what he did at Glastonbury. And apparently there's a, because I read your groups, by the way. I'm a proud member of my pro-Jewish community WhatsApp group. Is apparently they've made the police have not arrested him because there were not any evidence that Jewish people there at Glastonbury were offended by that. It's jaw-dropping. Britain is in huge trouble. Is in huge, huge trouble. And Richard Inman. Last chance, buddy. Because, I tell you what, I would recommend anybody watch Richard Inman's breakfast show. It's a bit better than the BBC, he said, turning his camera over to James's illicit. God, they're doing something with elephants. It's so the BBC is mind-blowingly bad, by the way. I mean, actually, I know you're watching, by the way. I'm actually going to watch Call the Midwife, even though it's got its social engineering and blah, 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 blah. But I mean, I can watch the BBC without fear of a knock at the door. Do you know what I mean? I'll do that in another video, by the way. I mean, I would never encourage anyone to break the law, but there's plenty of YouTube videos on how to watch TV legally without a license, and also how to evade. Do you know what I mean? I mean, I actually made a pathetic British teacher. I had said to a kid, I said, look, if you're going to watch the BBC on a phone streaming, be careful if you don't have a license because they can come for you and it's a criminal offence. So anyway, Richard, I have to put this in a marker. Richard Inman is, I would think, one of the most brainiest people on the so-called far right. He's on a stage with Tommy Robinson. He's quite an intelligent man. I respect him. He served our country, and he should know better. He should know better because he claims to basically know both the nationalist and the unionist position, and clearly he's quite sceptical about the Belfast Agreement, of which I am as well. And his content at breakfast time, it's later in the day for me, is first class. It's first class. Good stuff. But of course, he doesn't like it when I turn round and I say, well, where's your evidence for a Christian nation? Because there is none. It's not in the Bible. So I could actually work with this guy. The Jewish community could work with this guy. I don't think he's an anti-Semite. I don't think he's knowingly an anti-Semite. I actually don't think Ricky Doolan is knowingly an anti-Semite. I mean, he's a gold smuggler, a money launderer, a bad guitar player, but I don't think he has got the nous to really realise what the hell he was doing. I mean, it's an absolute pleasure to go on a demonstration with Jewish people and Iranians. And I didn't realise just how much unity there is between the Iranians and the Jewish people, because they've always looked out for each other until the takeover of Iran in 1979, which, please God, will end soon. Iran was a safe place for Jewish people to go. And of course, the first thing which the Islamic State of Iran did was to basically start persecuting the Jewish people and starting wanting the destruction of this country. So you're talking about the destruction of a country set up as a homeland for the Jewish people. That's why I'm a Zionist. Yeah? Now, when you get back to this issue with Richard Inman, at first I was discussing with him, I had my India flag on my channel, which I still have, by the way. I mean, I think I'm going to replace it with the Iranian flag out of solidarity with the Free Iran, which hopefully is going to happen. Why don't you just engage like a man rather than behave like a leftist? Because it is actually classic on your channel when you realize it was me under another alias. Trust me, I can get aliases just like that. If you by somehow recognize that I've got an IP, I'll just change my IP. It's not difficult. Yeah, it's not difficult at all. I won't mention the can you find your evidence for Christian nation? Because you know you can't. That's why Bob doesn't like me either, because when you actually ask him to front up with the evidence, can't do it. So I'll actually make you an offer, Richard Inman. I'll come back on your channel and I give you my word on two things. One is I won't mention Goldfinger, yeah? Because I can see that people are actually listening to you. You're reading the word of God. It's fine. Now, the thing is, reading the word of God is very important because you've got to read the whole lot. You can't just pick and mix, yeah? Because at the very end of the book, it says, if you add or take anything away from this book, let you be accursed. It also says that in Galatians 1 and 2, is that if you start to add to the gospel or make it a nationalistic movement, I'd say you're on shaky ground. But I can work with that. Yeah, I can work with that. Because I can see you've got some very scared and vulnerable people on your channel. Yeah, they're very scared about what's going on in Britain. Very scared completely. But of course, you pushing this Christian nationalism, all it does, in my opinion, is push the Jewish community and the Hindu community away. Like, for instance, get over it. We're now a multicultural country. Get over it. We have got, I looked this up, nearly 1 million Hindus in Britain. Now, I don't agree with Hinduism, but when do you ever hear of Lord Krishna or Ram or anything like that and anything blowing up? Now, of course, the Pakistani community are very, very good at saying, oh, Modi, 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 Modi. Well, Modi's a democratically elected leader, thank you very much. I watched that happen. So anyway, I think I'm going to do a separate video on Richard Inman because he won't watch. He's too arrogant. I'm quite happy to work with you. I'm quite happy to disagree with you. And I'm quite happy to come in and comment on your channels, and I'll give you voluntarily, I don't see why I should, but I'll voluntarily tell you I won't mention Ricky Doolan because you've got a complete liability there. Now, let's say the tiny chance that Ricky Doolin is actually innocent, which I don't believe he is. That's honest opinion based on someone else's work, by the way. You cannot get me on libel. Come on, Bob, are you going to sue me for what I said in Hyde Park? I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting. That's why you don't like me. I'm not here to be liked. I'm not here to have a YouTube channel because basically to get fame and fortune. I'm quite happy this is a niche channel. But I know I've got very, very good people watching this channel. The Tommy movement, the problem, number one, is arrogance, and then the second one is stupidity, and they usually go hand in hand. So I'll say to you, Richard, your analysis is spot on. And by the way, being a unionist, which you clearly are, you should understand more than anybody that talk of, we are a Christian nation, is completely stupid. You should know that the unionist community from the 60s and 70s, now, their big fear was joining